I'm kind of old school when it comes to teaching. I believe writing dynamical and explaining concepts live makes much more impact than already printed out materials. I think we'll get prefixed, both myself and you. Swift prompt action, addressing the concerns, connecting the grievances to the responsible or competent authority. Yes, you're alone, not in the class. They're walking on the road, I just call you, ask you some question, and you did some and they slap you.
I try to tell you that there is some.
I'll slap you again, for example. Hypothetical scenario. What will you do?
But I will not slap you.
Right? So this is how you explore the options. And the best option is one. Should also say when the best option fails, second best option is this. Again, you elaborate on the merits, demerits on the second best option and leave. You should never ever resort to this. For going to frame answers for questions like this, you need to distance yourselves from all these predetermined, or conditioned notions. Okay, take a very valid, very neutral, very practical, very legal and constitutional stand. Yeah. So, are you guys done with the theory of ethics? Theory is done. So, what are public ethics, private ethics, family ethics, societal ethics, differences between values, ethics, morals. If you're not clear, I'll just go through and give you an overview about how you have to frame a mental construct regarding ethics, so that if you don't know how you're framing, then you'll be roaming around, coming up with suboptimal concepts and understanding or appreciation of a circumstance and also theoretical aspects of ethics, right? I'm kind of old school when it comes to teaching. I believe writing dynamical and explaining concepts live makes much more impact than already printed out materials. I think we'll get prefixed, both myself and you, which should not be the essence of the class. Any class is what I believe, right? So now this is the thing. This is your paper 4, correct? See, if you take the human evolution, we started as animals without a society, without any rules, bunch of people roaming together with primordial affiliations, correct? Food sharing, like how some monkeys will be forming a group. Like in a similar way, we formed a group. Then society evolved, right? Tribes, then society, then complex social mechanisms, Varna system. If we come to the Indian scenario, Varna system, then caste system, then intercaste marriages, Varna dilution leading to caste dilution leading to subcaste, huge population, huge geography, huge cultures, geographical barriers, correct? Races. So everything made Indian society very complex. Then it is superimposed by the concept of state, correct? During post-independence India, we had British India plus 500 plus princely states, correct? Then everything got welded into a single nation called India. 1950 Constitution of India came up. So with this background, you don't need to quote, or rather have an in-depth knowledge about what happens, what happened before. So we try to understand these aspects to come to an understanding how ethics, morals, values evolved in the scenario of this country. And your ethics, values, morals need to reflect those of civil services. Why? You're not aspiring here to become an entrepreneur. You're not aspiring to be a politician. You're not aspiring to be a movie actor. Correct? You are aspiring to be a civil servant. So civil servants need to have a special, way of looking at the issues, a special way of understanding things. Great appreciation about the diversity and the complexity of society. Right? That is the reason we'll have to understand where we came from, where we are standing right now, what will be the future, and present. What could be the scenarios that can come up at personal level, at relationship level, at societal level, at professional level. Understood? All these are various divisions. Correct? Personal is a division. Professional, public, societal, okay, national interests. National interests, correct? So you'll have to have the ability to differentiate the aspects of ethics among all these constructs, even much more. They keep coming up, correct? If you're heading an institution, there'll be slightly different way of values and ethics, which will reflect the history, the objectives, and the future of that institution. Correct? Same IPS officer works in a different manner with a different outlook when he's posted in district. When it comes to CBI, it's a little different. ED, little more different. RAW, completely different. IB, different. Same person. Everything is a public service. Everything is a job as part of his service or her service. But they're changing the outlooks. These subtleties and nuances need to be understood in a dynamic manner. For example, the same person need to give an outlook in a particular way where he shall be harsh and very strict with respect to criminals, extremely compassionate and empathetic with respect to victims. Same scenario, two outlooks of the same person. Can I think that I can't use force, while catching hold of a person who's an offender? There are two people. Can I apply same ethics to both the people? If they both are doing the same thing or on the same side, then yes. If they are on the different side, one is offender, second is the victim, then my ethics are different for both of them. Understood? This is a very plain example of understanding the interface. The circumstantial interface at where ethics will operate. What is ethics, anyone?
Guides our actions which are
Acceptable
acceptable to society.
to society. For example, there is this sensational murder case, rape and murder case of Priyanka Reddy, a physiotherapy student in the outskirts of Hyderabad. Correct? What happened in that? I mean, after the death, what happened to the accused? They're not convicts, they're accused. What happened? They were killed in an encounter by the police team. So, was it liked by society or not? Liked?
Someone like someone like
Majority? Liked, appreciated. Particular police commissioner became hero. Right? But is it ethical? Is it ethical? Why is it not ethical? It doesn't appear to be against the law because they are saying that they attacked them, they killed in self-defense. Prima facie. That's their version, but prima facie it doesn't appear so. Right? So, why is it not ethical? If it's not ethical, why is it not ethical?
because they were just accused but not convicted.
So, what is there in between accused and convicted?
Judicial.
Judicial intervention. There is something called jurisprudence. Jurisprudence. Is it the domain? What is jurisprudence? The specific skill, a knowledge of judging an issue or an aspect in a way that fits to the local law or statute is jurisprudence. Correct? So this is as part of separation of powers in the scheme of Indian Constitution and Indian state. This is the domain of the judiciary, starting from the district courts till Supreme Court. Now, executive, police being part of executive, as undertaking certain action, overstepping, probably or allegedly overstepping their sphere of power and resorted to killing, rather encounter. Correct? So, why is it unethical? That's the point here. It is procedurally wrong if it happened. It is also unethical because we accepted on common law. Correct? Everyone needs to be taken through judicial intervention and trial process. It is unethical, it is illegal and also unethical to apply these rules differently for different people. Understanding? It is illegal and also unethical because the basic ground rule which we have accepted upon being part of this Indian state is differentially applicable, was differentially applied to those 3 or 4 people. So apart from being illegal, it is also unethical. Understood? Are you able to differentiate the nuances? Correct? So these are the subtleties at which you have to build your answer. Okay, we just don't, before, commencing whatever case studies we are about to discuss in the next 3 or 4 days, I would like to tell you to have sound conceptual understanding. Very sound. As sound as it can get. Correct? Definitions, the differences. Where to apply what? To what level? And give your personalized understanding of ethics to your answers. I would like to encourage all of you to go for a personalized approach. This is just an indicative answer. You can write entirely different answers, when compared to this printed PDF. Entirely different. Not even a word can match. Not even a word. Just indicative. Okay? I might deviate here, even though I come, looking at these case studies and also, the framework of answers, I might deviate. If some valid point comes to my mind, I will deviate. Similarly, I will also encourage you guys to deviate. Within the syllabus, you deviate and make a personalized and special way of presentation of answers. Because we are not here to pass exam. What are we here for? To beat the competition. 7 lakh people applying for 700 posts, 1 in 1000 competition factor. You'll have to be different. Not just hard work, should be something else. That something else is this. Giving a personal touch, a personalized approach to what you're writing. Right? Yeah. So feel free to interrupt me or feel free to add up if you feel that there is any valid point or important aspect being missed. Okay, feel free. It should always be dialogue. That's what I believe in. Go. Our professors told us that a good class is when the guy who is standing here in whichever capacity teaching the class should not be comfortable. You should not keep in comfortable zone. If you keep in comfortable zone, then my interests are not compromised. Your interests are compromised. Okay? Feel free, keep adding up. Okay? So, getting to the basics of the ethics again. Okay? These are the various aspects, and we have differences between ethics, morals, values. Okay? And again, those 3 split across these vertical divisions. Okay? And thoughts of various thinkers, European thinkers, Indian thinkers, Eastern thinkers, Confucius, right? Plato, Socrates, Chanakya, Rabindranath Tagore, Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi, the Gandhi's talisman. All these things, it's like economy. I draw parallels between economics or economy and ethics, where the depth is not so much, but the width is so much. You will not be expected to master the economics, but you will be expected to know all the basic terminologies of economics and their implications. Similarly in ethics. You need not write an essay on values, would you be? paper is entirely different. You'll be expected to write a 3-line, maximum 4-line concept of ethics, maximum. Correct? So whatever you have learned, the 10-page chapter of values need to be concised into those 4 lines in your final exam. Okay, so that is the orientation with which you have to work. Clear? So shall we go to the case studies? I have not fixed on any number of case studies to be finished. Okay, we'll see how it goes today. Based on that, we'll set a pace. Okay. I generally don't stop within 1 hour. I have this habit of teaching on the trot for 2 hours. I wouldn't mind. But if you feel that it's getting hit up, and if you want any break, you can just remind me so that we can break off for an hour. Sorry, after an hour for 2 or 3 minutes. Is it fine? Good. So, have you guys read the first case study? Are you guys given this print? No. How can you follow this then? Were you not circulated with the printed material? Then how do you know the case studies? I don't think it will be a wise idea to read out here and then make you remember. Do you have any group? WhatsApp group? Telegram group? One of you call these guys. You'll see if they can circulate the same PDF. They might be thinking that you will be looking straight away into the solutions, answers, rather than putting your brain up. Okay? Don't do that. It's about you're not school students. Don't do that. Try to put in your brains and your thoughts and your understanding. Always, what we'll be discussing in the second part of ethics paper will be applied ethics. Right? Telling what are values, defining what are public service values, what are public ethics, personal ethics, virtues, good, bad. Okay, is theoretical ethics. Applied ethics is where you learn them and you get them to the, is it okay to read the theory and then is it sufficient? Why do we learn theory? To apply. What use is science for if you don't develop technology? Is it of any use? If you calculate the escape velocity, okay, how much is escape velocity? How many meters per second? Is it meters per second or kilometers per hour? What is it? 11.2 kilometers per second. Correct? You've calculated everything. We're not using it to launch Chandrayaan, not using it to launch Mars Orbiter rover mission. What good is your science for? Correct? Similarly, first part is science. Your ethics part 1 is science. Part 2 is application like technology. You apply, you meddle, you moderate, you give a personal touch. Correct? Can you understand the difference? You can know the science, but apply the science to develop your own technology. Yes? Someone developed COVID vaccine by using mRNA technology. Some used just the spike protein of one of the spike proteins of the RNA virus, the COVID virus, right? Coronavirus. Then the other person used the entire virus to generate an antibody response, bottled it and given us vaccine. There are 3 vaccines, yes? Science is the same. Developing a vaccine or immunity. But the technology or the route in which you use the same science is different for different companies or different individuals. Similarly, having an understanding about theory of ethics is one. But applying it to the case studies that are given in your own way is the thing that is needed. Okay, so don't ever try to learn things by heart. Okay, don't learn. Understand, keep your mind free, apply. Initially, you might not get so many of thoughts. The flow will be obstructed. It's not very seamless. Be persistent, be consistent. You will eventually land up in a stage with your efforts where you can just flip across and then think and then generate your own answers. Right? Especially given this scenario of UPSC questioning. It's not easy. It's getting tougher. Okay. So you called the guy? You got it? It is circulated in your group. So please, everyone open the first case study. Sahil Kumar as district collector. Done, everyone? Small case study. Should be a read of 1.5 minutes. Yes? Yeah. So what happened? The district collector, it is law and order issue. And in his capacity as a district collector, he gave the order of police firing. Police fired. Mob got dispersed. But one of the consequences was death of an old person who was a breadwinner. Okay. So now there can be different n number of questions out of this case study. But the questions given here are: do you justify the police firing? What will be the best course of action to compensate the death of the old person? In future such situation arises, what should be the ideal way of dealing with it? So, do you support police firing? No? Why? You don't know. You are not witness to the situation. The situation given here, a trained and competent person by law has taken decision of firing. Must have been the last resort. Yes? So you should assume that it was the last resort. They tried every other thing. By lathi, by gas, by rubber bullets. They're not getting dispersed, so they fired upon the crowd. Do you support police firing? Then you will have to say that police firing would be justified if it was used as a last resort to minimize the damage to public and property. Yes, after sufficient warning and trying to consult the leaders of the agitation or the mob. When that fails and the mob is getting aggressive, where the mob is ending up in a situation of rioting and arsoning, then the police firing is justified. That too, after taking all the precautions, to minimize the injury and death of any person in the crowd. But the crowd is not static. Would you be sitting like this? The crowd would be sitting like a class like this. Will be running, shouting, throwing. Yes, some people will get into mob frenzy. Mob mentality is very dangerous. Even a normal person would have a beast inside him, which will be unleashed with a mask of anonymity. This class is roughly around 15-16 people. If the same class is of 150 people, then the class would never be silent like this. There will be murmuring, chit chat. Yes. Similarly, mob can never be static. They can never be in one manner. So after satisfying all these requirements, then firing below the waist, right? Then it is justified. Still, even though we have aim, we can't aim, the aim can go wrong, or the person might be running or might have slipped and then fell. Okay, then even the below waist aim would hit him when the vital parts are hit. That can happen. Right? So when is it justified? After following all the things we have just mentioned. Correct? Also, police firing as a last resort is needed to cut the violent activity of the mob. Yes, if we don't disperse the mob would enter into something else, because the mob's thirst is not being quenched. They came here to do something. You're controlling them. For example, if I want to hit the guy, I have deep anger against him. People are holding me back. Till the time they hold me back, I'll not hit him. When they release me, I'll hit him. I'll have to be taken from here to somewhere else. Similarly, mob needs to be dispersed. Especially the violent mobs, they need to be dispersed as early as possible, so that damage or loss to property and life can be avoided or at least minimized. So, police firing is justified when all the above mentioned aspects are taken into consideration and followed promptly. Right? Some people are yawning, post-lunch classes. Do you guys have the habit of picking up really early? I don't think. Less than 10% will wake up before 7, I assume. Right? Fine. Second question. What will be the best course of action to compensate the death of old person? Okay, fine. We are fired upon and there is a death of a person, old person. And how to compensate now? What can be done? How to compensate the death? He's a breadwinner. Yeah, so it should be structured. Okay, it should always train your mind to get into a structure. You learn in a structured manner, you think in a structured manner, you recollect in a structured manner, and you reproduce in a structured manner. This is not a one paper exam. Yes, it's multiple papers, lots of syllabus, dynamics, current affairs, live events, so many things. Your mind should be trained into a structure. Right? So what is structure now? What is structure of compensation? Short term, immediately you have to give something. Funeral charges can be borne by the government. Announcement of ex gratia. On a longer term, livelihood option for one of the family members who is eligible enough. Right? That's how it has to be structured. This is a very simple way of understanding structuring, and this can get very complicated. And once your mind is trained to think in a structured manner, then even complicated issues can be totally split into its component parts, arranged in a logical sequence, then thought of to get a structured answer. Right? It's like finding order in chaos. Your questions are always chaotic. There is in this essay topic where your impression of me is your understanding, and my impression of you is reflection of what me. It's a chaotic line to listen to, but you'll have to think how an order or structure can be brought out of that chaotic line. Okay, even case studies can be very complicated sometimes, right? Yeah. Next, in future, if such situation arises, what should be the ideal way of dealing with it? Initially, you have to prevent them. How can you prevent? We have an elaborate organization called police station, beat constables, intelligence gathering, getting to know that a mob is being accumulated at the earliest point of time and who is accumulating the mob, contacting that guy and fizzling out the mob in the initial stage itself, right? And what else can be done? Swift, prompt action, addressing the concerns, connecting the grievances to the responsible or competent authority. Yes, they can come directly and negotiate and whistle out. More than 95 or 96% of the mobs can be handled, by swift and prompt action when you can identify that mob is getting accumulated. Okay, and what else can be done? Okay, mob has accumulated. Then, before accumulation, this thing. After accumulation, by the way, I'll be talking. If I think there is something very important, then I'll make a note. Otherwise, I'll just be talking. You try to be attentive and try to think that if there is any point that is useful, then make a short note of it. Okay, I will not be writing everything here. That's not how I think civils level class should go. Okay, we end up wasting a lot of useful time. Okay, so yeah, mob has formed. Then what has to be done? Dialogue. Okay, even after the mob formation, can get the guys out. Dialogue, assurances, right? Transparency, solutions. Okay, that stage crossed. Next. Prompt warning before firing or using any course of action. Prompt warning and having an exit for the mob. If you surround the mob and start asking them to move out, where can they go? If they want to go out, there should be something very open. Then they can go out from there. There should be an exit. Okay, always an exit route should be planned or given. An exit should be given. Why some people are wearing masks? AC. Okay, exit need to be given. Okay, exit is being given. Still, few people left. Few people are still there. Then graded coercive measures. Warnings, minor lathi charge, full lathi charge. Correct. You might not be expected to mention all these things, but rather you can say graded coercive response. I'm just telling you as examples. Minor lathi charge to firing rubber bullets. Okay. Then resort to firing only if it is needed. Isolate a person, then fire upon that guy below the waist. You just cannot spray your bullets like this. Yes or no? You'll have to know where will you fire it. There's a mob, and you have to fire at the mob. Where will you fire? Whom? How many people should fire? Think. Common sense question. You are a commander. You have your police party, firing party ready. Now you are asking them to fire. Is it like that General Dyer firing upon the crowds of Jallianwala? Everyone standing, taking aim, and then firing at everyone indiscriminately. Can that go? So how should you fire? How many people should fire? Common sense. One person. So who should he fire at? There is a mob. Notorious. Who will be the more notorious usually? Leader. Yes? You should identify the leaders for those 1, 2, 3 people. You fire at them, he's done. There's no one to rile up the mob, so people will slowly dissipate. Yes? So all these measures need to be followed, then fired upon. So to show the transparency and intention to the public post firing, there should be an independent oversight mechanism or inquiry committee that needs to be set up to study the entire scenario and give a report. So the intention is right, the firing was right, it was accidentally fired upon by some other person, they fired right, but accidentally some other came into the aim or field of fire and got hurt. Right? Then the transparency would lead to confidence on institutions and state. Yes? So these are the things that need to be considered or kept in mind in future. If any such mob or any such situation arises, you need to have all these things. Okay, and also you should have a broader level community engagement. Yes, once you get an idea or indication about brewing of discontent, okay, in any community because of something, some XYZ thing, Kudankulam nuclear project, it could be anything. Okay, then you should have prompt and then engage the community at large. The IPS officers or the inspectors should go there. The district collector, sub collector should go there, talk to people, talk to the leaders, try to dissipate their discontent. Then there itself. Yes, that is broader level community engagement. You need not always talk to the leaders alone. Okay. Ideally, a public authority should address a crowd, is what I believe in. If the crowd is a short crowd, small crowd, like 15, 150, 200, 300, you can address them. If it's like thousands of crowds, then you have to call up the leader. Yes? Most crowds will range in hundreds. You can make them sit and then take a mic and then talk to them. Okay? That is broader community level engagement. And also, should sensitize the police force. Okay? Should sensitize the commander of the police and also the field level police officers. They should also be in the same line as the commander, an IPS officer who is commanding. If the IPS officer is very sensitive or sensible and would expect lathi charge to a level, and the men are ruthless and brutal, once you tell, instead of breaking the legs, they'll break the heads. Yes? So there should be sensitization of the police force. There should be always an order in which you apply force, right? So this is a broad structure of engaging. There is community engagement, there is transparency, okay, there is graded response, and why the force was needed for public order and law and order maintenance, to minimize the losses as much as possible. Yes, to cut the thing from blowing out of the proportion. Yes. Any doubts in this case study for anyone? Anyone want to add anything? If you feel that this can be added. No.
I think we should also handle the effective component.
Effectiveness. Emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence of the crowd. For example, one of the top singing national anthem in the anti-CA protest. Or would that should we address effective component also in every such mob or case?
What is affective? Okay, CAB.
Yeah.
CAB. Okay, affective is like emotional aspect. Emotional aspect you are addressing by community engagement, but when the mob is there, you're not a political leader. You can maybe in a very specific set of circumstances based on your talent, you can. If the mob is only belonging to certain caste, for example, if you belong to the caste guy, you can appeal to them on the caste lines. It is not unethical or immoral. Caste is a reality. Isn't caste a reality? Caste is a reality. You're using that caste to the advantage of public service. Yes, you're not, by addressing your caste people belonging to a caste doesn't make it immoral, because you're not deriving any undue benefits to yourself. Rather, you're discharging a public duty. So it's a game, right? Any law and order issue, any public issue is a game. You employ all whatever tactics you can to contain it and fizzle it out. So emotions also, till the time the mob gets violent, there should not be any force, not even pushing. Okay, the police officers should be staying on the periphery, and even if they hurl abuse at you, you behave or act as if you have not heard them. Yes, if you react, then 10 people will come. Looking at these 10 people, another 10 people will come. It will become violent. This is sensitization of police force. I might be standing here, some person is giving me abuses. I should not be thinking, I'm an IPS officer, how can he abuse me in the crowd or mob? I should not get at him. Should look at him, ask the guy to mark him, then move around. Just ignore. You can pick him up later. Yes, these are tactics. Should be tactful, especially in mob-based scenarios. Okay? Yeah.
So while answering these three questions, we have understood like how to handle the situation. But we have never talked about what are the reasons for arising the situation. Is there any need to add that reasons to an answer? Like actually the reason is the price levels, discriminate price levels. Is there any need to write that reason in its answers?
But in case studies, you're already given a scenario, so you'd not be asked, to get into the reasons. They gave a scenario that these people came, and what happens then and afterwards matters more. You'll have to focus on the reasons in other papers.
So the third question is how you handle this. So if you know the answer, then we can give best solutions for it.
So, if you, in this scenario, can you make out the reasons why these guys came up? Okay. Prices of essential commodities, corruption, administration. That's when you connect them to the relevant authorities. I told you, if they feel that there are price levels, the district collector can come in, the SDM can come in, okay, or the local representative, a minister or an MP can make a statement. Correct? Or any political representative can come over there. We made the statement connecting the grievances with the competent authorities. You cannot keep on going, you cannot elaborate on this, because the question was not that. Questions were different. Do you justify the death? First of all, do you justify the police firing? You cannot talk about reasons or causes there. Can you? Yeah. And in the second case, compensation. Again, you cannot. If in future such situation arises, what should be the ideal way? What is the ideal way? You try to connect the grievances to the competent authorities. Still, there is any plan to go about. Then you try to take the leaders into confidence and engage them in a dialogue before the mob formation. If they are not listening, then give them rules in which you will specify the number of people, the route of procession or protest, timings, okay, and things that should not be done, okay, where routes they should not enter, okay. These are things that can be. It's always good that if you can direct the ground to an open place rather than on main roads or gullies. Yes, you can see and you can contain them. You cannot contain a mob that is running across a mob in gullies. You can run behind them. Understood? Next, second, Ben. Done? You should also not take a lot of time. You read, I'm not saying you should not read, but you should also not take a lot of time. You should try to skim and pick up important aspects. Okay? Those who are yet to read, you can read. One more minute. You can finish. Those people who want to finish can finish. I think this case study is not neatly worded. There are little jumblings in the way they put up, but we'll talk about it. Done? Can we discuss? So it's very simple to put it. Two friends, Ben Michael, and Michael is a guy who used to handle the sales part of the organization. And Michael used to say that he has very difficult times in making his ends meet. He has some financial difficulties, and his actions were a little suspicious to Ben. And Ben didn't give much attention to it. Suddenly, one fine day, Michael left the organization with a lot of money. And Ben was asked to finish or look after the role of Michael. And subsequently, Ben found out that this guy resorted to collusive corruption with the supplying company, where the sale is made but orders are not fulfilled. For example, what is sale? Sale is when both of us will come in contract. Okay, I'll give you this particular object, and you give me this amount of money. Okay, and that is being postponed. Transactions will happen later. Sale is being done, and transaction of money was being transaction is done, but actual fulfillment of order was postponed. So his company is thinking that no money is being done, no sale is being made, but sale was made, transaction was done, but sale was not fulfilled. The orders were not delivered. So in meantime, he gobbled up all the money and he left. And it came out, the company started corrective measures, and and they're trying to ask all the employees if they can give some valuable inputs to round up this event and also prevent any further cheating or fraud in the company. Now Ben knows the entire scenario. Now what should Ben do? Right? It's a open-ended thing. This is the thing that is done by Michael, right? And these are the things that Ben has on his plate right now, right? So Ben needs to think about because Ben and Michael are very good friends. At a personal level, imagine your close friend doing this. Very good friend, very close friend doing this. Now you can't disown your friend because you have a certain level of connect and equation with your friend. At the same time, you cannot support his action because it was totally immoral, unethical. Okay? To inflict loss on your own company. Correct? It is totally, not virtuous behavior. Right? So, what should Ben do? What are the things he has to consider? He has to consider the conflict of interest between his personal equation with Michael and the larger interest of the company, which employs thousands of people. And if it's a listed company, there will be public who invested in the company through shares and stocks. Aspects of corporate governance will come in. So, in the face of all these things, his equation with Michael need to be evaluated. Right? What else is there? And if he says that, yeah, when Michael was talking about something which was not, very clean, it was a little suspicious, but still Ben did not get it up to the top level company management, or at least immediate level company management, about the suspicious activities of Michael that will endanger the job of Ben. Ben can't say, yeah, I know, but then I did not think, it's like I did not expect him to, run away with money. He can't say that. He'll definitely be asked, why did you not tell us? Showing that he can be terminated in the company. Yes. So these are the various conflicts of interest, and also his own interest. His own interest, his own job safety are at stake. And these are the aspects related to the company. Okay. Company hired you and it is paying you and it is expecting certain loyalty, okay, certain ethics, values, and morals to be followed with respect to the company, and you're not doing it, and it's not ethical, it's not moral. What about justice and fairness? Someone did something wrong and he just left and nothing is happening to him. And if if there is some Michael who's coming up in future doing the same thing to the company, not in the best interest, there should be some institutional mechanisms that needs to be followed or erected, right? And need to prevent it in future. Corporate governance. What is corporate governance?
So administrating the company such that the interest of stakeholders were not affected.
Interest of the company, interest of stakeholders, interest of public,
Public is also stakeholder.
otherwise also. In company taking up activities endangering the safety of public, for example. If there is a vaccine company, okay, vaccine company is doing, they know that this can endanger the safety profile of this particular drug. Still, they gave, bribe. They bribed public officials and got the product through the oversight mechanisms. It is there in the public, in the market. People consumed. A fraction of them fell ill. Some of them lost lives. Is this not falling under the failure of corporate governance? It is. Corporate governance is a very, very wide concept. Okay, corporate governance is where the governance of the aspects of business with respect to each and everything that the company undertakes, and each and every group of stakeholders, including the general public at large. For example, Johnson & Johnson powder. Do you know the latest aspect? Latest issue of Johnson & Johnson powder? Kids are developing a rash or something. It was found, or it was alleged, that the raw materials or the materials in the final products might cause cancer. It is an issue. It's related to the process of the company. If the corporate governance is good, the board of managers are good, CEO, COO are good, they would have taken an alternate course of making the products. Failure of corporate governance. If you don't cater into this corporate governance thing at this point of time, then there will be many more Michaels that will prop up. Okay? There will be many more Michaels that will prop up, compromising the interests of the company in future. Every person. What is democracy? Who should protect the democracy? Organs of the state. What are the organs of the state? Huh? That's it. Executive includes bureaucrats. Independent institutions, constitutional, non-constitutional institutions passed by resolution, and your You're forgetting the most important thing. Press also. Public at large. What is a democracy? It is for the people, by the people, not state. That's where we often forget. One professor calling up his students to not vote for those people who change their names and dresses will be suspended. Don't vote for that person who frequently changes his dresses or who talks about some fancy stuff. Vote for those people who actually talks about your problems and issues, and that person is suspended. Is it democracy? Why can that company think of that kind of decision to remove that guy? Because there is no democratic culture. Is there? If I slap you, okay, I'll come in uniform, I'll slap you. Would you keep quiet? I get 20 of my men and I slap you. Would you keep quiet? No, what will you do? You will not do this when I actually do it. You'll be little taken aback. Should I do now? You're alone, not in the class. They're walking on the road, I just call you, ask you some question, and you did some and they slap you.
I try to tell you that there is some.
I'll slap you again, for example. Hypothetical scenario. What will you do?
But I will not slap you because you are.
Right? You are restraining. Do not slap, do not even utter a word. You'll say sorry, sir. That's not a good culture. Is it a good culture? Is it? He's at least trying to tell. If I catch hold of a manual labor, I slap him, I kick him, would he respond? He'll run away from them. Is it democratic culture? If you go to JNU campus and even talk, even a police officer, if he goes and talk to a person rashly, a student, would they keep quiet? Have you ever been to JNU? Heard of things that happen in JNU? The culture? Would they keep quiet? Even before slapping, they start shouting. If you slap, India Gate is gone. Yes or no? What is that? Democratic culture. Right? The culture of democracy need to be imbibed in each and every subject of that particular state. The body politic. Understanding? It's not the only job or it's not the only business of the organs of the state. Democracy is not of the state, by the state. What is the other thing? For the state. No. It's of the people, by the people, and when it's everything about people, then why are people so reluctant? What is there? Have you ever thought? When you know that everything is for us and then you still feel, do you feel empowered? You are not feeling empowered when I'm wearing an uniform and slapping you. So what is the solution for that? When these things are these things not happening? This is a very basic thing which I am saying. Not many things. Much brutal level are happening. What are you guys doing? At least you guys are sitting for the exam. Know the basics. So at least can think and at least discuss among yourselves. If not, come get onto the roads and protest. Those people who are there, waking up, making their breakfast, packing lunch, go to job, work 12 hours, come back, sleep off, doesn't even know what's going on around, stopped reading newspaper 10 years back, always watch reels rather than news items. They'll not even have an idea if Sri Narendra Modi called the WHO chief Tulsi Bai. How many of you know that? Do you know that he called WHO chief Tulsi Bai? And he felt so happy because Tulsi is a medicinal plant and Mr. Modi gave me a nice name. Do you guys know that? I think you have not heard of this. That is staying awake to the latest developments. This is irrelevant. But the relevant stuff, what is going on in the country and world, and those implications on your life, is the culture of democracy. Yes, I will be doing my job, but what is your job? If you're not getting into civil services, after getting into civil services, it's defined. Staying out of civil services, it's undefined. There's no bound. Is there any bound? I can't go out and I can't even utter a statement against Mr. Prime Minister. I'm bound by my conduct rules. Are you bound by anything? Then why are you sitting calm and quiet? You understand what I'm speaking? It's a language we both understand. Think on this. Later on, act. Not on caste lines, not on religious lines, but on the lines of the spirit of democracy. Understand? It's a tough and complicated language, but an essential language you all should understand. On similar lines, it is corporate governance. Everyone being part of an entity should follow the objectives and also should own up the responsibility of the company. You just cannot work just because they are paying you. You have to have some sense of ownership. Yes, every subject of that company is a micro agent of, in a similar way, every subject of democracy is a micro agent of democracy. Understood? Transparency. When you speak up if Ben speaks up what he heard of Michael, then they'll understand, okay, things have started much before. Okay, they can spot those people who are at those critical points of operations of that particular company, and they can have checks and balances, oversight mechanism, yes or no. If Ben doesn't say anything, they don't even know the timeline. Yes, if he opens up, then company can map. Okay, if Michael is doing it, there can be X, Y, Z, A, B, C people. These people can also do. Let us check their operations. If there is any more black sheep, let us put such monitoring mechanism at such critical points. Yes, this critical understanding and resource management is very important. If you are a police officer and if you have just 40 people and you have to give bandobast or make security arrangements, can you keep 40 people across the entire city? No. Then you have to plan. Your plan will factor in the criticality of the geography, criticality of communal sensitivities. Yes, then you make priorities, make priorities and arrange. Understood? And this transparency would lead to that in this company. Clear? Culture of honesty. Not honest culture. Culture of honesty. Honest as you should say. It should be okay to say, yes, this happened. Just as a culture of honesty. If in your family, do we generally lie to the family members? Do you lie to your classmates? Sometimes. Yes. You want to go to a movie, but you want to go with your girlfriend. And your friend asks, where are you going? Say, I'm going to a movie, girlfriend. He might say, and this guy also knows your girlfriend. Then you will be in a moral dilemma. If you tell him, this will tag along. I want to spend my private time with my girlfriend. Then what would you say? You lie. Yes. Similarly, we'll keep lying here and there. But with our family members, Generally, we don't lie. What is that? That is culture of honesty. Yes, that is extremely required in workspaces. Yes or no? So, these are various aspects, moral dilemmas, and there are something called ethical lenses. Ethical lenses. When it comes to any aspect, themes of ethical lenses. As I told you, the verticals, similarly, you'll have to see things in a different lens. Rights and responsibility lens. It's given. It's already given in your PDF. You can write if you want to, anyways. Rights and responsibility lens. Okay. Fairness. It's fair or not. Justice. If justice is being served or not. Okay. Results. What is that school of ethics that focus on results? Huh? Utilitarian is the consequence of that. What is the actual, the primary branch? What are 3 branches of ethics? So, virtue ethics. Deontology, teleology, and virtue ethics. Deontology is where theoretically you write down what is right and what is wrong. Right? Teleology is where you evaluate the ethicality or morality of a particular action through the output. Correct? Through the output. By the way, are you guys getting bored? Or you want to take a break, tea break? Okay. Anything is first thought. I told slapping him, for example. I wanted to slap him. I slapped him. Okay. And what is the outcome? What if he is that person who actually kidnapped 12 children and trafficked and silently sitting here in the class or silently walking on the road? We saw and we catch hold of him, we'll slap. We're just passing by. Start slapping him. I start slapping. What will you think? Police brutality. పోలీసుల దౌర్జన్యం నశించాలి. Yes, when you're told that this is the guy who actually trafficked 12 kids, then you will like Mr. Sajanar, I'll be the hero of that small scene. Correct? Yes, thought, action, and outcome. Thought can be right, action can be right, outcome is also sometimes. Okay, I didn't want to hit him, I wanted to hit some other guy. I threw a lathi, but it missed this guy and hit the other guy. Sorry, it missed the other guy and hit this guy. So thought is action, outcome. Now I know that this guy is loving, okay, my friend's sister. He did some moh maya and then that girl got trapped in his charms. I know that this guy is very bad, good for nothing. Okay, has 2 or 3 cases against him. Okay, I want to make them split or something. Okay, then I'll do something else, for example, against him. Is thought right? Is that the way I should be handling? Thought is 3 or 4 men in mufti lifted him up and then took him in dark cell, no sleep, no water, no food, torturing him. Actions, and this guy came out and committed suicide. Outcome? Okay, that is thought, action, and outcome matrix. Okay, a good action is where, correct or good action is where thought is right, action is right, outcome is right. This is misfeasance. Misfeasance is your thoughts and intentions are right, but action and outcome will be wrong. This happens a lot of times in our lives. This is totally wrong. Okay. That is the reason why we give benefit of doubt. Okay. Like in the case of the encounter killings of Priyanka Reddy. Okay. It could have been in this or this. Could have been, we don't know. You are not the committee. Are you the judicial committee? Look. I mean, you have taken the call. You ordered your allegedly, okay, and you ordered your guys to encounter, and your guys encountered. Everything went oral. No judicial committee comes in, asks who fired. This guy fired. This girl fired. This guy fired. Who asked you to fire? That girl asked you to fire. Who told that girl? I told. There is no written evidence. There is no voice recording evidence. I will say, no, I did not tell them. I just told them to recreate the scene. Recreate the scene. Nothing wrong in doing that. Okay. They just killed them. They don't know what happened. I came out of the scenario. Okay. And I am the hero. Isn't it? Who was the hero? Hero was different. I am the hero, but judicial inquiry is being faced by. Is it good? Does anyone of the general public even know that those officers or men who fired upon are facing judicial inquiry but not the top officers? No one knows. Is it good? Is it a good intention or thought or action? Things like this keep coming up. Very fascinating, very tempting. Instant fame. Chiranjeev will come and then sit and then say that it's very it's very humbling to say great action being done, justice served, citizens celebrate, not even understanding that they can be killed in one of the encounters if police get any doubt in future. If you write reverse screenplay script of a movie, the same guy who is jumping here will be dying in the next scene. The same police officers whom he is cheering for. Understanding? That is the reason why we believe on some common ground rules. That is the reason it is not just illegal but also unethical and immoral to kill people without judicial exposure or intervention. Right? Understanding? That is interface. First sentence we wrote, ethics and human interface. That is interface. When the actual thing comes up, you don't know what to do. That is the reason you have to skill yourself and also train your mind to behave in a certain way. For example, if the same thing comes up, would any of the police officers in Telangana fire upon those guys? Because they know internally that the top bosses gave the orders, they killed them. Now, inquiry is being faced by the guys who fired upon but not top bosses who gave the orders. And there is few more people who are sitting on their top who gave that instruction. Top boss gave the instruction. The middle level boss gave the instruction. The inspectors fired. Now the inspectors and Constables are sitting for judicial inquiry, not even understanding what their fate is, how it is going to be. Yes or no? Okay, it's a very complex scenario. So all those temptations for instant fame needs to be reined in, right? Next, third one. Any doubts in this case study, by the way? Any doubts or any points you want to add? In this case study, do you think that things can be altered or added, or
Can the lower officers can resist the lower orders?
yes? How can you take the orders when somebody is asking to kill you? You can say that is a culture of democracy again within the organization. Everyone knows the rules, everyone knows the constitution, everyone knows the local state law, everyone knows the procedure and rules of the organization. I can say, sir, how can we do it? I don't think it is legal. What stopped them from saying it? What can they do? What can the top boss do? Can they fire him for not firing at those three guys?
When you see the police commissioner can ask the return order from PC when he asked fire
Mob, yeah. We have sections, CRP sections. Okay, that gives powers to particular officer. If it's a commissionerate, police commissioner will give the order. If it's a revenue district, then collector will give the order.
So till officer the district of the SP or the police commissioner.
Yeah, till firing of the rubber bullets. He is SP. Firing by, in some states, for example, in the state of Maharashtra, it's SP again. SP can give order.
There should be a written order.
Yeah, written order. Should be written order, signed and then dispatched. This is WhatsApp, no? Yeah. Court is accepting WhatsApp. Summons, 2 blue ticks, it's served. If you're not coming, there can be a warrant. Why are you not coming to court? I don't understand if it's valid or not. Or if it's good or not as a development, but yeah, it is being accepted. Even our leave letters. If I get leave letter on my WhatsApp, it's sanctioned. Sanction at any cost, it's sanctioned. Okay. So yeah.
So you have mentioned that after this encounter incident, many lower level police officers would think again.
I was asking about the doubts of the Ben Michael, but because okay, anyways, go on.
Sir, you have mentioned like that very lower level officers would think again while doing encounter.
Yeah.
But sir, in Uttar Pradesh, many encounters are still happening.
Yeah, if some judicial inquiry comes in and then pins them down, the Supreme Court appointed committee because it became a national issue. A rape and murder. Do you know how many rapes and murders happen in the country? Recently, there is a 15-year-old girl. Do you know the case? 15-year-old girl belonging to immigrant family from Odisha or Bihar, working in Hyderabad, was brutally raped by 3 men and she died. Raped and assaulted. And they were taking the girl back to their village. She died midway. How is this different from that? There, at least the victim is 27, 28-year-old. Here is 15-year-old girl, she's like nothing, she's a child. It's POXO. So now, should we kill those 3? Are those the common rules we have agreed upon? So, that is Supreme Court appointed committee. So, the impartiality, non-partisanship, transparency, fairness will be of really higher level. UP or some other state encounters, if they are subjected to same level of committee, then the outcome will be very strict and stringent. Then they will stop. If they are not subjected to that level committees, then no one is asking them not to do or stop. This is just going on. Atiq Ahmed was shot point blank when he was taken to court or he was taken to prison. Medical checkup. See, can you say it's not planned? Can you say police doesn't know that he is being killed? He's going to be killed. Can you say? Such a grey area, right? But is it a good culture? If today it's Atiq Ahmad, tomorrow, if any CM or deputy CM or any minister wants to neutralize one of your friends who is very vocal in exposing the corruption, there can be similar charges. He can also be taken for medical checkup. Like the movie dialogue of Atadu, మంచి హైదరాబాద్ బాగా డెవలప్ అయిపోయింది సార్, అన్ని ఇక్కడ దొరికేస్తున్నాయి. Katta or weapon, we get them in Hyderabad too. You know what is katta? DC made handguns, pistols or kattas. You can get katta in Hyderabad also. The same person who cheered for the valor and encounter of the killers of or accused in the case of Priyanka Reddy, the same guy is the sufferer now. Why his brother is shot by the police? Just because he is exposing corruption. So that bad culture can be used against anyone because state is very powerful. Yes or no? Judicial inquiries, committees, postponements, again appeal in high court, then Supreme Court, judgment, review petition. The guy who fight will also retire. Why? But the life is lost. The family will grieve. And that family can be any of the family who's sitting here in the class, or anyone who lives in the state of Telangana, Uttar Pradesh, or Bihar, XYZ. That is the reason the common ground rules and the culture needs to be set right. Understood? Next, third. It's very simple, small case study. Dream offer? Don't be hypocritic. If it comes to me, I'll think that wow, it's a good thing. Yes or no? Because theory is different. Whatever answer that is given there, I also give contradictory view to that thing, which is more practical, okay, than the answer that is given there. Okay, if this happens, what should you do? It can also happen to girls. If you are a female IAS officer, topper, XM wants you in their home as their daughter-in-law. Also, it can also happen, right? Then, what needs to be done? So, what are the ethical considerations? Right? These are the ethical considerations. Now, on the face of it, and by the way, the girl liked you, right? And if you are, or if you are a girl, you like the boy, or the boy liked you, then what should you do, or how you should go ahead? Should you call off the marriage? How many of you say that you have to call off the marriage? Because the guy who's, the guy who is the father of the potential groom, in this case it's bride. Bride's father is an ex-CM with criminal antecedents, criminal case against him. You being an IAS officer or an IPS officer, want to get associated with him or not? No. Why? What if the girl is really good? Good as in not by looks. Good person at heart. Also looks, yeah. That's given there in the case study. The girl is looking beautiful. She did masters in one of the foreign universities. She came back. She's a good person, very good person. Very kind at heart, good person. There is a lot of compatibility then. How many of you say that the guy should cancel the marriage? Hands up. You understood the scenario, right? It's a plain scenario. You can say, be honest, it's okay. How many of you say that the guy should call off the marriage? Raise your hands up properly. Okay, 5 people. How many of you say that he should not call off, he should go ahead if there is compatibility? What about the others? We're not going to give the exam. Lift properly. Okay, 7 people. What about others? There are 7 others. 7 said yes, 7 said no. 7 others are like still thinking, are not able to make a decision.
So it depends on the reason why you want to marry them.
These are the reasons available.
No, you want to marry just because she's the daughter of an MLA or she's a good person. Only he knows the reason.
That's what we are going to write in our answer. Should he call off or not? Then that's where you elaborate, right? So marrying or not marrying is not such a plain equation where the criminal antecedents or criminal cases of the father-in-law alone needs to be considered. There are so many other aspects to it. What if he marries a girl whose father is very rich? After 6-7 years down the lane, he wants to get into politics. Now he starts murdering or extorting people. Should he divorce her? How can he be associated with some person whose father is a criminal? Should he divorce her or not? He should not. Even he is not, when he should not be divorcing her, then why should he be declining the marriage proposal right now? How are those two different? Think. That's what the exam about. That's what these classes are about. You should project into your mind contrasting scenarios or extensions of the scenarios. Think. Then form a mind. Then come back. Then write answer. Understood? You will be facing, if everything goes well, if one of you get selected and get top rank, if incidentally or coincidentally one of the ministers or political persons have a daughter and they belong to your caste, these days I don't think even caste is a big matter. If you are into top services, then people are crossing over into the caste, other castes and getting married. Yes, if your other factors are checked. Yes, then what should be done? You might face with the same dilemma. There are so many IAS and IPS officers who are getting married into political families. And many of the political families, there will be a person or two with criminal cases. Yes? Yeah. I talk, no. Why are you guys so silent? Think. If you should not, if not, why? Whatever is the answer there, okay, you read later. I'll give you a contrarian view to that. Bad things, life is a combination of good people and bad people. Life is a combination of good things and bad things. Life is a combination of things under your control, many things out of your control. Yes, whatever is in your control are your actions and the actions of your family members to a certain extent, and actions of your subordinates to a certain extent. Yes. When it comes to marriage, it is a domain of personal ethics. Sometimes it can become professional ethics. Yes. Now, if the girl is really good person, there is compatibility, there is a liking for each other, then it should not stop the guy from turning down the marriage proposal just because her father is a bad person. Rather, he can go ahead and set an example of an impartial and effective civil servant who doesn't yield to the whims and fancies of his corrupt father, and show himself, or set up a very bright and shining example as an effective civil servant, effective, non-partisan, transparent, unbiased civil servant. Yes or no? If, for example, if I am the guy, let us say I am the guy, I am an IPS officer, I belong to some XYZ caste, and if he is not an ex-CM, there is a minister, okay, and I like the girl, I'm married. 2-3 months into the marriage, the father-in-law comes up, బాబు ఇట్లా మన వాళ్ళే కొట్టారంట, తల పగిలిపోయిందంట, ఒకరు క్రిటికల్గా ఉన్నారు, కొంచెం అరెస్ట్ చేయొద్దు. షుడ్ ఐ లిసన్? అలాగే send the guys to arrest him. What are you doing now? What am I doing by doing that? I'm setting up clean and straight personality, no nonsense attitude of an officer who is a civil servant. I'm not going to yield to any of these things. And these things can be talked with the girl and explained to the girl beforehand, that just because I'm getting married into the family would not compromise my ethics, morals, values, professional integrity in any manner. So don't ask me to get married into the family by expecting benefits of that nature in future. That can never happen. Because even the girl I don't think any girl want to have those discords or disturbance in her family. Okay, more than guys, I think girls are more sensible. They'll little far-sighted and then, okay, why should we get this headache? Just leave it. Even if she's also good, that yes, you should not do it. You should stick to your professional integrity. She'll go ahead with the marriage. Then both the people, that is family now, not the father-in-law, that extended family. When guy and girl come together, make a family, that is a family now. Yes, then he can set up example and then deliver such services and administration or policing in that manner that will appear completely non-partisan, completely unbiased, rounding up all those criminals irrespective of their party lines, irrespective of their association with his father-in-law. Yes, then whatever is given in your printed notes or PDF is about you should come down, perception is very important. Okay, public will not perceive you as non-partisan authority or official. So you should refrain from going ahead with the marriage, should turn down the marriage proposal. Okay, because being non-corrupt is not the only thing. You should also appear to be non-corrupt. Yes? It's just not that you are non-corrupt. You should also appear to be non-corrupt. You should constantly show yourself as someone who is not corrupt. Correct? That's how the answer was written. You can take either views. You can take that view or you can take this view. If I take the exam, I'll take my view. Because it's more practical and even progressive. Answer that is given there is very cliched. Everyone will write, oh, public servant, this, that. What if the other person is very kind and very talented, the girl? If she likes you a lot and you also like her a lot, then why should this come up? Why can you not treat your father-in-law like any other citizen? Rather than turning down, you should get married, make a family, and treat every other person equal in the eyes of law. Which sets a much better example. Yes or no? Like Mahendra Bahubali. తప్పు అమ్మ చేసిన తప్పే. ఒక అమ్మాయి మనసు తెలుసుకోకుండా మాట ఇవ్వకూడదు. సినిమాలు చూస్తారా లేదా? అది కూడా అక్కడ డల్లేనా? Amarendra Bahubali, yeah, Amarendra Bahubali. The bigger guy, the father guy. నువ్వు చేసిన తప్పమ్మా. Yes or no? So those are the characters that should inspire. That's a very ethical character. My personal favorite. Extremely ethical. I get goosebumps when I see that guy talking, moving across on the screen. Very, very. I think he is a mini textbook of ethics. Yes, how he balances out, how he sticks to his personal equations, how innocent he is. Yes or no? Right? So, what are the questions? Unethical or not? Would you deny? Critically examine ethical issues. Examination of ethical issues. These are the ethical issues. Okay. Criminal antecedents of father-in-law should not come in the way because they can happen even after the marriage. Then I would not be expected to divorce the person. When I'm not divorcing the person because my father-in-law is going to do this in future, why should I deny the proposal on the similar lines? It's unwise to deny the marriage proposal, just because the father-in-law has criminal antecedents. And there is one more thing where, how can you work under your father-in-law? Because he might be the next CM. If he already worked as CM, he might be CM in future terms too. Why should you not work under your father-in-law? What if you marry a girl and that guy becomes a father and your father-in-law becomes CM? In that case, you should you resign service? People can be mature enough to have their personal and professional life delineated. That is a progressive way to think as civil servants. Yes, you can work within the system. You can be related to someone, still be astute and prompt and incisive in your performance and working. Right? So try to think on those lines too. Don't be very safe. Don't play safe game. Don't play safe game in ethics. Be little aggressive. Within the bounds of ethicality, again. You just cannot be aggressive. You say that I'll shoot that fellow. Okay, I'll kill him. Not to that level. Rather, little progressive, little out of the box thinking, new solutions, make it more personalized. Right? Any doubts in this? Anyone having any other? Those people who wanted the marriage to be turned down are satisfied? Fair enough? Or you want to tell something else? If you want to counter, you can counter. It can be dialogue. It's okay.
So in this case, should we apply the personal ethics or professional ethics at time?
What is personal ethics? Liking a person who is a good person and getting married to them is personal ethics. So in professional ethics, you cannot be associated with someone who has criminal background. So here you're not associating with the person who has criminal background. You're marrying a person whom you're liking. It's a balance. If you're doing a business with your father-in-law, or if you're acceding to his wishes, okay, or if you are becoming part of his criminal activities, then wrong. So it's a complex scenario. It's not a plain black and white. And UPSC will never be interested in plain black and white questions. Anyone can write. Anyone can write. How can I get a better mind from the lot when the issue is complicated? When the issue is not very clean, then the mind will think deep and minor issues will be brought up and explained. That is a good mind. And I want that mind. Yes or no? Right? Yeah. Next, fourth case study. Loud. Both are advantages. అక్కడ ఏం చూస్తారంటే ఎథిక్స్ ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ లో దే లుక్ అట్ ద వే యు ఆర్ splitting up the issue, the way you are projecting the issue at hand, the kind of ethical concepts you are highlighting, and the way you are tagging the ethical concepts to the issue at hand, and how well you are crafting your solution and how you are justifying your solution. You can totally write that this guy should turn down because perception, this, that, personal, professional, no association as per conduct rules. Okay, why to avoid future conflicts when you already know that the person is having criminal antecedents, or it's not fair on his part to get married into a family even after knowing beforehand that this guy can be the boss of the state in future. That can be entirely one issue. You should justify. That is also right. This is also right. It's a choice. I am the person. I can take both the choices. Both can be right. So ethics is an open-ended game. Okay, it's not a zero-sum game. Zero-sum game is where if something is right, the other thing should be right. No, it is a projection. It's a it's a blank sheet. You can paint your own paint using the palette. Okay, the canvas is all yours. You can paint your own paint, but the paint should be meaningful. You should substantiate. Understood? Yeah. So now coming to this case study, you all see of a firm. There are issues, some public protests, pollution, XYZ, something else. They are saying that shift the location, shift the firm to a new location. Now shifting the firm to a new location is costly, and it's riddled with so many problems. And your father is a minister, being CEO. Now you can manage local protests with the help of your father, and then let the things go the manner they are. The status quo can be maintained, right? So now what are the various things or options at your disposal? One is, how many options are there? Two. What are they? Minister and suppressing the protests. That is one. Second, talking to the mob, addressing their grievances. Third, do you have any third? Third, right? So, engage with protesters, address grievances. Shift to new location. Third is, take help of minister father and suppress. Right? Three options. So what are the merits and demerits? What are the merits in this? Yes, and you're actually addressing concerns, so it might not pop up again. Okay, longer term permanent solution. Demerits. Some tribals got uprooted and they have to be displaced somewhere else. Rehabilitation might or might not happen. Long drawn process, right? Extremely long drawn. Talks might lead to fruition or not. They can get into deadlock. Not so profitable to the company. Yes. Next, shifting to new location. What are the merits? Merits to the issue, locals, and that is distant merit. Come to the immediate merits. No disturbance for locals. Status quo of that locality can maintain. Environment, again, the new environment can get affected. There is no need to have any unethical activities, right? And okay, demerits, cost, overruns, not profitable for the company. Similar issue might arise in a new location. Good. Employment loss. What is? They're expanding in the same area. Now the expansion unit needs to be shifted. again that is little distant, demerit.
Employment loss. The company loses the market share.
So
It may,
why would company lose the market share if they shift to new location?
they gave it to you. Because the price will increase.
They gave it there. Why reading that? Don't read that. You try to put your mind.
The question.
Question itself. What did they give?
Cost line.
Company may lose market share in terms of sales if the cost goes too high. Okay. So that is a demerit. Okay, fine.
Government paid will be because government already gave permission. So if a reverse decision may impact negatively.
That means the ease of doing business, right? Government's credibility with respect to ease of doing business, but this is the choice of the company, not the government. You are the CEO of the company. Government gave you company permission, but you as CEO needs to take a call. Okay, but no, talk about the demerits of shifting new location. Okay, fine. Next, getting into the next option. Taking help of the minister and suppress the protest. Is it a good thing? Merits?
That's the wrong.
Merits of this. Easiest option. Okay. Profitable for the company. No extra costs. Okay. Immediate solution. Short term. Correct. Company can be profit. No. Company need not lose anything. No extra additional costs. More profits. What are the demerits? Huh? Misuse of power. Very good. Locals will be uprooted, displaced. Huh? Okay. Same thing, no? Displaced, uprooted against interest. Huh? Who might not support? But it's a small constituency. Public trust might get eroded on the particular minister. Okay? And? Company saying, because quid pro quo. I did this for you, you do that for me. Yes, might happen. Huh? People, the protest might turn violent, and rights groups, activists, NGOs, civil services organizations, XYZ can pour in and make it a big issue. Narmada displacement issue, for example, Medha Patkar, she fought for 30 years, still fighting. Yes, that can happen. Right? So, what is the best way to go about? Option? Very good. Okay, that is the best option. Why? Huh? Ethically, can explain, elaborate. How is it the best option? Yes. Okay. Okay. And?
Because we've been involved in all the stakeholders, so
Corporate losses. Corporate governance.
Because the first option is, if you're talking to someone, you are involving them in the discussion. Stakeholders are being involved in the discussion. That's called corporate governance.
Okay, so it's like you're ticking the box of corporate governance. And when you have an open dialogue, the grievances are being addressed or redressed, and you're building the confidence with the local community, addressing their concerns, coming out with a sustainable solution. If you use the last option, you might get a short-term solution, but the simmering discontent and tension will prevail. There is always a discontent, there is always tension. You don't know which group will come up and protest against this. Correct? So it's not sustainable, it's not long term. So open dialogue and giving some more compensation, getting their trust and redressing their grievances, compensating them handsomely and to their satisfaction, and reworking the compensation packages. Correct? When that doesn't go through, if they are totally hell-bent, then option 2. Why? Again, everything will be right, like sustainable solution, no simmering discontent, locals are not being displaced, no more protests, some costs are increased. The cost might increase in shorter term. You can work around that, and you will gain competitive factor again. Yes, and increase the profits. Temporary discomfort. Can you say that setting up that particular expansion plant in new location would totally leads to the death of the company? No, it need not be. There will be temporary turbulence, and slowly it can cope up with the losses, right? And in option 1, they can even offer employment, right, to those eligible candidates in those eligible roles in that particular expansion plant, right? So this is how you explore the options, and the best option is 1. You should also say when the best option fails, second best option is this. Again, you elaborate on the merits, demerits on the second best option and leave. You should never ever resort to this. Taking help of your minister father and suppressing the protests can never be done. Okay, it should never be, because it's unethical, immoral. Okay, you are suppressing the rights of the people, and you are, there is no transparency, misuse of the political office, right? Rights abuse, all these things. Okay. Now,
What if the minister is taken not to suppress the rules, but to give more
exactly. Very good. Yes, you can engage the minister in a constructive manner. You can get the same minister into confidence, and you can let the minister's representatives or the minister himself come down and talk to the locals and assure them. Yes. So you're
that may be the second option also, rather than shifting to the new location. Third one, in a constructive manner, that can be a second solution.
it can be a second solution, but once you highlight these 3 as your options, okay, then you cannot. Maybe you can go to the 4th option, okay, or you can include this: engage the professionals, address the grievances, and also engage minister in a constructive manner. Okay, add that here only. Okay, engage the minister in a constructive manner to address the grievance of his political constituency, so that the confidence of the local communities is built and increased or maintained, and that will lead to a sustainable solution, right? Yeah, 5th one, last one for the day. Simple, very basic, very common thing. This happens everywhere, but the Kha Panchayat delivering a verdict of returning the girl to her family wouldn't happen here. So it's thing of Rajasthan, Haryana. Okay. So this actually is best suited for the role of SP than DM, is what I feel. But okay, let us think on the lines of DM. So district magistrate or district collector is responsible for the maintenance of public order and law and order of the district. Right? This happens and you are the DM. What are the ethical considerations in front of you and what is your course of action? What are ethical considerations? What are those ethical considerations? Lenses of ethics, we just rights. Isn't they right when they both are adults? Right? Next. Legality. Okay, legality of marriage. Ethicality. It's ethical, they can do whatever they want to. Then what else? Social discrimination against the boy that belongs to lower caste or depressed classes or subaltern sections. There was this case, the guy was hacked to death in a hospital. Vinay or some Pranay Amruta case, right? They killed him. Imagine the level to which people can think. The person who is not having any, bodily criminal history before, Amrita's father killed Pranay just because of social flare-up. It's not him. It's his brother, it's his friends saying, how can you let him go away with that? Do something. Look at our community. What community? If that same fellow is buried neck deep in debts, would the community give 1 lakh each and then get him out of the debts? Have you seen? Anywhere, 20 families of Reddy community, Khamma community, Kapu community, or Dalit community, or tribal community coming forward, contributing 2 lakhs each and paying a 40 lakh loan. Have you ever heard of it? 1 or 2 friends might help. The two as a debt, as a lending. I'll lend you, don't pay me interest, but we'll settle them later on. And these people are thinking of the community. If Rajaram Mohan Rai, Dayanand Saraswati thought of their community, how many of you people know young widows in your family members or nearby, young widows? You'll be knowing some young widows. What would have happened to them had they not thought out of the community lines, out of the Hindutva lines? What would have happened by now? Even now? They would have been charred to death, thrown onto the pyres, the burning pyres of their husbands. Yes, these people became those beacons of hope, thought across whatever dharma that was existent at the time, came onto the values of humanism and fought their own people for the betterment of someone else. Yes. Leading to what? Human progression of Indian society. The benefits of fruits are being enjoyed by all of us. Our own sisters might lose their husbands very early in their lives. No one will stop. If Sati is still existent, your sister will die, or my sister will die. Imagine. Getting me? Are you understanding the parochial approach? So this is one of the ethical issue. Okay, social discrimination against that Dalit boy or whatever depressed class boy he belongs to, right? What else are the ethical considerations here? What else are there? Duties, responsibility, and duty. There is one more case. If not caste, class. One top celebrity's daughter ran away and married a guy. It used to be a huge issue. Younger daughter. Right? So it was a huge issue. So it's not about caste because they are also belong to BC caste. Yes. But it's about class. Yes, it's about class. Same thing happened again. He was cornered and the girl, they made her divorce him, came out, got married and got a kid again. Do you see this discrimination? The new discrimination that's coming out is not caste discrimination, it's class discrimination. Okay, humans through the phase of history always discriminate against each other. It starts with your skin color. I'm fair, you're not. Yes. అమ్మాయి చాలా తెల్లగా ఉంటుంది, మహేష్ బాబు ఇంత తెల్లగా ఉంటాడు. These are stereotypes. Fair and Lovely. What is Fair and Lovely's new name now? Is it Glow and Lovely? Not fair for sure. Why? Because they woke up to the current thought of not having race or color as something that defines a person. Because they're global corporates. Okay, the global currents need to be factored in the business. So they're smart enough to remove that fair and then put glow. Anyone can glow. A dark person can glow, fair person can glow, a brown person like me can glow. Yes? Right? So there is discrimination, it has always been. Discrimination has always been a defining factor of humans. Correct? Strong people will discriminate against weak people, they bully him or her. Caste people, lower caste, class people, that fellow, the Bharadwaj fellow, was of, I think, of same caste. He was not of depressed classes. These people belonged to BC, Chiranjeevi family, and he belonged to some BC family only, but they were hell bent on separating them. Yes? Why? Discrimination. Social discrimination. And it is a responsibility of the state and of the DM as the agent of the state to protect the couple and that marriage as a bond, irrespective of where they come from and to what they belong to. Right? Okay, so that is a very important ethical consideration. Also, awareness. Community awareness. Engagement. Community awareness and engagement. Correct? And one of the ethical consideration is law and order. Communal clashes. And rights of the family members of that boy who belongs to lower caste and also other families of that lower caste. Do you know that case where upper caste people in one of the villages of Tamil Nadu burned down the entire village and killed almost everyone in that village of Dalits? Do you know the example? I'm forgetting the name. You can go Google. Entire village was hacked to death. Every home was burnt to ashes by upper caste people. I watched this movie by Dalit. So Dhanush, Asuran. Asuran is such a bright example. I think even Telugu film industry should raise to that standard. Not fall down with movies like Bhola Shankar. Right? No decency, nothing. Okay, Asuran is one such bright example or portrayal of movie and character where upper caste would suppress the lower caste in rural areas. Why? Because the agents of the state, like sub-collector in villages, there will be MRO or Tehsildar, police inspector or BDO. Those will be closer to those people who has money. People who has money are usually of upper caste. So the upper caste has almost direct access to the machinery of the government, to the agents of the government. With that affiliation, they can easily suppress the lower caste in rural areas. In cities, it's not that easy. In cities, it's not that easy because we have media, we have social media, we have rights expression. Okay, it's not very easy to for one caste or class to discriminate against or suppress other class. Okay, but in rural areas, in tertiary centers, it is. Okay, so communal clashes, law and order, and what else are there as ethical considerations for DM? Are there any other ethical considerations? Trust on the state. What was the claim by Mr. Sanjeev Bhatt? We don't know if it happened or not. It was a claim by Mr. Sanjeev Bhatt, who was an IPS officer in Modi government, 2002, Godra riots. What was the claim?
It was removed the community.
Huh?
It was a party in the community.
He said that police was told to just keep quiet. We don't know if it happened or not. Okay, it's not, no one can prove it if it happened or not, but he claimed that police were asked to stay calm and let the Hindu outfits vent their anger. We don't know if it's right or wrong, but that can happen in not that scenario, it can happen in any of the scenarios. A local politician can say, if he's a minister, he can say, the inspector, keep quiet for a few hours.
It's usually happening.
Huh?
It's usually happening.
Manipur also. Police are not effective. How tough it is to, we have OPSPA operating in Manipur. You know what's OPSPA? OPSPA operating in Manipur. We have nearly 10 lakh reserve police, CRPF, available in the country. State police being headed by IPS officers, well-trained IPS officers. Then there is an entire policing machinery, army, and you're not able to control communal clash in a small area, small state like Manipur. So something is not right. Yes, something is not right. So that leads to erosion of trust in the machinery of state. It is an ethical consideration as a DM. You cannot let the trust get eroded. Yes. So these are ethical projections. Now what should he do? What needs to be done as a DM? If you are a DM, what should you do? You know that there is a chance of communal clash. Would you ask the girl to go to the family? You can tell honestly, it's okay. Practically, huh?
It may result in
It might result in honor killing too. You should always, at any cost, you should give protection to the family, and at any cost. That is the reason why I told this is a good case study for an IPS or an SP, not IAS. At any cost, you should give strict and stringent warning to all those self-styled Kha Panchayat leaders or XYZ people to call to your office. Give them strict warning. If anything goes wrong, you will face the full force of the law. Yes, it will have some deterrent effect. They will think that police is very strict now. If we do anything, we are getting behind the bars. We already lost our girl, in their sense, to the marriage. We should not lose our boys. Police is going to be very strict. If they know that there are 100 people who get involved in communal clashes and 100 people are getting booked, who will come forward? So, if there is no connivance, if there is no connivance of local authorities with elements like these, then these elements would not have the dare to engage in communal clashes or arsoning or rioting or rights abuse of depressed classes or any other section of people. Okay, so you give stringent warning and also educate. Sama, Dana, Dandopayal. Right? You talk to them nicely, you offer them some things. Okay, and if they don't listen, you Dandopayam. You show what is the force of law. Right? And you counsel the couple also. You counsel the couple to go away from that place. Don't stay there. If you stay there and keep roaming there, you are inciting the negative feelings in your people, in your community, and those people might get raked up by looking at like Amrita Pranay. They were roaming there only. What is the town? Come on. Somewhere. The couple was also, I think, staying in the same town. That is the practical. It's not advisable. In law, yeah, you can. In law, police will give. But how can police protect you each and every moment? Can we do it? Police station will have 70 people or 60 people. Jurisdiction will have 1 lakh or 1,15,000 people. What is 60 people? What is 1 lakh people? 60 people, not considering the leaves. Consider the leaves, it comes down to 40. Always 1/3 is on leave all the time in your organization. So 40 people, 1 lakh people. Is that even a count? That is the reason why people should also be a little smart. Counsel the people, one couple, to relocate if possible to some other location, so that till the time the communal tensions come down, and you call up these communal leaders, tell them, warn them, counsel them, and sensitize them about all these aspects, the rights, legality, personal choices, ethicality, progression that's happening in the world, in the country, in their own state. Give bright examples where intercaste marriages led to all the good things, and try to sensitize them. Also warn them and counsel the couple. Correct? And have your intelligence sources extremely active for the next few weeks and few months. Right? That's how you're going to handle the situation. Any doubts in this? Last statement. Like? Community awareness. And the solution. The question. Ordered by the State Home Secretary to give counseling to the couple. Yeah. Counseling to the couple. That's little. I told you some questions are, some aspects are not well framed in case studies. Counseling to the couple as in this. You tell them, you assure them, you sensitize them, you give this sense of protection and security to them. Okay, you can assure them you did not go back, you stay, police can give you protection, but try considering relocation to new place, little far away from here, so that any untoward incident can happen. Getting me? But more than that counseling, handling the communal issues, communal tension, and sensitizing the leaders of all the communal groups will be the priority. Okay? Yeah. So any doubts? Any doubts in any of the case studies today? Want to add any other things? Want to share any other things? Nothing? Yeah, good. Hope it's good. This tone is good. You think it's enough, or we have to add up more points? Or the concepts clear, or needs to be explained even more in detail? Okay? Yeah, you can give feedback to Vic if you want any changes in language or any style. I'll try to change it in the next class. Okay? And try to understand and compare and contrast between the case studies and examples of real life. If it comes to social discrimination, you should think of all the other aspects to form your mind. Okay, if that particular thing is given as a theory question, then you can quote these examples. So the more you think, the more you project, the more you practice, the more you distance yourself from the affiliations. If I belong to Kamma caste, for example, so if I'm not belong to Kamma, if you are belong to Kamma caste, for example, let us say, I don't know your name, I'm taking up your example very frequently. Okay, if your name is Ronit, assume Ronit is Kamma caste. Okay, and Ronit's friend, who is also Kamma caste, a girl, is loving a guy who is Dalit. Okay, Kamma as just an example I'm saying, can be Velama, any other forward caste. Okay, initially it's not very easy to accept it. The face of it, it will be very tough. Very tough. It's tough. If it comes to their family, if his own sister comes into the picture, it's even tougher. When he sees his mother crying every day and father becoming furious and his other uncles, aunts and other community neighbors speaking low or ill of the family, then his blood will boil. Yes. So he should be able to distance himself from all these influences. As I told you, any of those fellow Kamma or Reddy or whatever community families are never going to come to the rescue of the Ronis family if they are going to file an IP or insolvency petition in the future. Are they going to? Would anyone give you 2 lakhs for free, even if they are able to? No one will give you. Then why are you considering their viewpoints? Give the example of Jagapati Babu. What happened to his, elder daughter or younger daughter? He belongs to forward caste. Elder daughter, right? Yeah. She married some foreigner, US guy. And apparently, Kamma is a caste, and within Kamma, there are again gradations. Recently, Honorable Chief Minister of Telangana has designated Chittam Reddys as BCs. Their name is Reddy. Sanjeev Reddy, Sanjay Reddy, some Reddy, Vishnu Reddy. They are BCs. There is a group called Chittam Reddy. I don't know. I never heard. In state, Chittam Reddys. Name has Reddy, and they are included in backward class for the state. Similarly, that guy, apparently his surname is Tripuraneni or something like that. What, anyone of you know his surname? Dheeraj Babu's surname? Some surname. That surname apparently is one of the purest of the forms of the Kamma caste. He himself told this in an interview. He was attacked by a mob of Kamma students. Not even some adults or someone. 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old Kamma students stopped him, mobbed him, hurled abuse at him, intimidated him. when he went to their college for some ceremony. He told that that was one of the very few times when he felt intimidated, when he was not sure if he can go out without getting harmed. See, it's not social discrimination against other castes. It is social discrimination against your caste when he is doing something out of the caste lines. Getting me? That will inhibit this guy. It's like, do you know this analogy where there are a group of frogs in a basket, and Indian basket is opened, no frog comes out. Why? Frogs who are there down, they're pulling the rising frogs by their legs and then pulling back. నేను బాగుపడినా పడకపోయినా పర్లేదు కానీ పక్కన మాత్రం whatever we fall as a caste must be followed by every other person in the caste. In this artificial intelligence age, in this Chandrayaan age, in this ChatGPT age, in this age of Internet of Things, in this age of your Instagram reels, you're sticking to your caste lines mindlessly. Is caste a biological concept? Is it a racial concept? No. There's so many overlapping races in the same caste, and there are so many overlapping castes in the same race. Many times, the biology of one Kamma and one Reddy are more matching than that particular Kamma to other Kammas or that particular Reddy to other Reddys biologically. What is more true? That Reddy name or biology? Which is more true? Your DNA, your biology, your biochemistry, that is more true. Yes or no? So try to think on these lines. You cannot write all these things in your ethics papers though. Okay, for your understanding, for your clarity of mind, I'm just saying. Okay, so discriminations can happen at any level, in any dimension possible. But it is the role of the state to look at the brighter side of the future of that particular state and community and this country. And you being civil service aspirants, you will be expected to always look at the brighter side, to always look to challenge the stereotypes, break the bastions, right? So Mr. Ronit needs to distance himself from all the affiliations, unlearn these affiliations and learn the way he has to look at the issue. Grown up girl in a free country like India, which is guided by the Constitution, right to life, Article 21, Article 14, right to equality, equal opportunities, she can do whatever she wants to do. No one has any right to interfere with the choices made by the adults. Clear? That needs to guide. That is why we wrote Constitution, isn't it? Otherwise, it's a farce. It's a joke. You articled it, subarticled it, sub-subarticled it, and you're not even caring what it is for, and you're fighting with the same guy, okay, the same guy who is not okay with his sister marrying, a guy coming from lower caste will fight with some person in the, in the movie theater for not rising when national anthem is being played. Do you know such instances? Everyone is rising up and one guy is sitting and everyone will bully him. Why not rising? Indian constitution, Indian flag, Indian anthem is being played, national anthem is being played. They'll bully him, and when they come back to their own home, they're like, oh, why are you marrying that guy? And unfortunately, sadly, people are not even at a level to even identify the levels of hypocrisy they're following. Understood? But as public servants and civil servants, as those people who are going to take papers like these, who are going to frame answers for questions like this, you need to distance yourselves from all these predetermined, or conditioned notions. Okay, take a very valid, very neutral, very practical, very legal and constitutional stand and progressive stand. Clear? Train yourselves. It's not easy. It takes time, but train yourselves. Okay. Okay. We did 5, right? It's 5 o'clock. In 2.5 hours, roughly. Good. I appreciate your patience to sit through the class for 2.5 hours. We actually planned for a break, but is this okay? Or you want break from tomorrow? Break after 1 hour 40 minutes? 1.5 hour? 1.5 hour break, 1 hour? Is it fine? Huh? Cool. Okay then. It was a nice class for me at least. I don't know if you have enjoyed it or not. We'll see it in future for further days. And do read the case studies before coming. You read the next 5 case studies before coming to the class so that we can right away start off into the case studies. Okay. Also touch upon the basics of ethics, the theories of the basics. Personal ethics, okay, deontology, teleology, utilitarianism, group utilitarianism, individual utilitarianism, J.S. Mill, Jeremy Bentham, right? And deontology, teleology, virtue ethics, and Nolan Committee, public service ethics, public service, civil service ethics, and other dimensions of public service. Okay, interface of ethics with personal life, professional life, societal life, relationships, national interests, right? All the basic terminologies of ethics. Okay, definitions of ethics, values, morals. Okay, all these things, all the basic terminology: accountability, transparency, non-partisanship, unbiased. Okay, probity, integrity, things like that. You should be easily using those terms. Okay, just brush them up once tomorrow before coming to class, and also read next 5 case studies. We'll discuss them. Okay, see you.